All right, September 9th, KMS Wrap Up show. Solo again, obviously, yes. But Justin is hopefully back on Tuesday. I'm hoping that's what happens. So that'd be good. It'd be good to see him again, one. And then maybe we'll bring the Wrap Up back, see if we can get some of that chemistry going again. I still think I'll suck talking to somebody else like I always do, but it is what it is. So we're solo here on September 9th, KMS Wrap Up show, as I've already said. Good news right out the gate, similar to yesterday's out the gate. It is on Apple, which is shocking to see. I think yesterday took like 3.5 hours. I left doing the wrap-up show. It was not up there. And then, now I want to say from clicking publish to getting on Apple, maybe like 25 minutes, which is a monster win in comparison. So I can't shit on Apple today, even though I'd like to. So, but you can still change. I'm a Spotify guy. If you want to change, go change. All right, topics today that we hit on. Obviously, we talked about the Craig situation right out the gate. I was asked I guess I wasn't asked if I want to resign. Do I want to quit or be fired or be loyal to Craig as a friend? I chose loyalty to a friend because I just don't think you bail on people. I think being loyal is an important thing. So, last night, Craig was, he was a little sulky, a little down. I mean, obviously I thought like Kirk, like nobody's getting that fucking audio. I mean, nobody should. And even if we did have that audio, we wouldn't be playing the pertinent business aspects of the audio, meaning like numbers or anything like that. It would all be just like the funny, goofy stuff, which I think was a lot of the points that Mike was trying to make. But we'll get Kirk's take on it.
Really is realistically going to ask Craig to send secret audio out. Like, he has a job. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? I know Mike thought it was real for some reason.
That's why that was
never gonna happen. And like, Craig was like, I mean, what the fuck? Like, I was kind of like, he just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like him. But like, until yesterday, it was just that. Now I don't like him because he's just a pussy. I mean, what a fucking pussy.
All right, yeah. So if you listen to this show, I mean, sometimes you're on the receiving ends of that stuff. And I guess from my perspective, why I pushed back, it wasn't necessarily that like Craig and I are best fucking friends. We just met each other through this kind of KMS world. It's just that I was a little bitch sometimes when Kirk would say things, whether it be about my kids or whatever. And it's a comedy show. Maybe it takes people that think they know that it takes situations to make them realize it. I don't really know. Maybe we're just pussies and we just gotta like figure it out or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes you just get lost in between of like what is funny, but then do you respond like it's funny? I don't fucking know. Either way, I don't know. They resolved it by the end. Craig actually called in and apologized to Kirk, which is just kind of funny. And he is allowed at Sacco, which is nice. Now, am I saying that right? People always correct me. I think it's Is it Sacco? I'm gonna say Sacco, but I think they want me to pronounce Sacco, I think. So I don't know. He was a little sulky, but I honestly, I can't, what the fuck can I say? I was like sulky and down for 2 weeks post Sacco 3. So it is what it is. But Mike and Craig, they did their show and we played clips from it and talked kind of about the Mittman thing and what's going on there, which we still don't really know. One thing is for sure that Craig is the program director of this place, which is the way he classified it. And Kirk went well into his hatred of program directors, it is just funny to think of Craig like giving Jerry advice on what he should do on a daily basis. I can't imagine that's what it's going to be like, but that is kind of just randomly funny to think about. So we hit that today. Nothing really, I'm trying to think of anything behind the scenes kind of happened because of that I can share. Not that like we did the show live to tape, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we didn't say on the show that would be of value. Not really. I mean, Craig ended up calling in, like I said, and everything ended up like, I don't know if I'd say blowing over, but I assume everything is kind of normal at this point. I assume Bruce Mittman has a sense of humor and figure it out after that. So, other topics we talked about Matt Walsh, who's with the Daily Wire. We didn't talk about this earlier, but this clip went viral of this sports reporter who was bitching and moaning about being at a sports venue with, these guys that were, I don't know if it was multiple people touching her during the live broadcast or a hit or just giving her shit. I mean, you're at a sporting event, you're drunk, you're doing a news hit, you're right in the middle of the concourse with a shitload of people. Like, shit's going to fucking happen. But Matt Walsh had a take where it was like, why are females just involved in sports in general? Which just seems wild to me. Like, I don't know. Maybe you agree with them, maybe you don't. It is what it is. I don't agree with them. I think a female can do the same job a male can do in that situation. But here's the difference. Like, they both suck. Like, there's nothing of value that really an analyst or reporter like that adds in those situations. And I'm not trying to like make that up. I just think it's boring. It wouldn't matter if it was fucking, Todd McShay or whoever would do something like that. I just think it's like, I don't know. I think it's a stupid role and it bores me or whatever. We were talking off air, Chris and I, before the show, and just saying that's why the Barstool bowl thing actually kind of excites you, because something different is going to happen in that element. I even feel I brought up like Gus Johnson was really trendy with the NCAA stuff years ago. He was like, oh, because of his reactions, it was crazy. Now it's kind of like, oh, now nobody gives a fuck anymore. Like there's not a lot of personality on any broadcast that people really care that much. The only thing I would say is possible is golf. Like I like kind of I like actually both of them. Why am I blanking on name? I know Jim Nance on CBS. I like him obviously during the majors. And then who's the NBC guy that I just can't remember his name off the top of my head? I'm married to the ESPN anchor there, but I like both of them. It's like a different style of broadcast, obviously, so it's more like soothing or whatever. But every other sport, like I don't give a fuck who's doing play-by-play or who's doing sideline analysis. But Matt Walsh's take of basically being like, get female out of what would typically be like male dominated areas like sports. I don't know. I just thought that was ludicrous. It wasn't necessarily necessary, but let's get Kirk's take on it.
I mean, I've said all along the sideline reporter position itself is useless.
Yes.
Male, female, whatever. It adds nothing to the broadcast. What a forced take that is. Jesus, Matt. I mean, I don't even know he's like famous.
Yeah. Daily Wire.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. We also hit on Howard Stern. Howard Stern talked about basically saying fuck their freedom was his quote, and why can he not live his life because people choose to be unvaccinated. And they were like poking fun at radio hosts that didn't want to get vaccinated and then passed away from COVID. It's just, I don't know. It's so weird to see people like celebrating that shit. And you don't have to agree. Like I too, like Kirk said on the show, I would rather everybody be vaccinated. But if you have a belief system where you don't trust it or you don't want it, whatever it may be, you're sticking to your guns, like you earn that right to do so. People fought for your freedom to do so. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not going to be fucking Jimmy Kimmel and go out on a stage and basically like be happy that people are dying that aren't vaccinated. It's just sad. It's just sad that fucking there's like glee out of that. It's just very, very strange. But Howard Stern adding to that, obviously Robin adding to that. I mean, he's just, I was trying to think of a way, not to defend him, but to bring, because we obviously could then get into a little bit of just how much Stern's changed, but it's tough to compare like that type of reaction, fuck their freedom, to any other time. Like 15 years ago, if Howard Stern said that and the world wasn't as like divided, I guess you could say, not that I'm trying to be that guy right now, but I feel like he could be edgy on this topic and say that exact same thing, which would be outside of what everyone else is publicly saying, and you'd be like, oh, he's edgy. Whether or not you agreed with him, you'd say he's edgy for kind of going there. Now it's like everybody is all rallying behind like fucking with people who are choosing to stand by their, morals or beliefs, freedoms, everything, and they're like finding joy in doing so. It's very strange. It's stupid to see. It's dumb. But Howard Stern joining the fray in that department is unfortunately, it's like par for the course now with a guy like him, a guy like Jimmy Kimmel. So other things that came out today, we got another lock of the week. I think we got Ohio State is Kirk's lock of the week. We got to get these things on the sports book, which I mentioned quickly. Mikey Fowler did reach out and connect the dots to the sports group, to the sports book. So I don't know. We got to see if we can get Kirk to probably, if it's going to be serious and people are obviously spending money, it's got to be in the golf sphere, which I think Kirk even said. So maybe we'll get some golf bets going on with Kirk in the near future. So those connections have been made, which is nice. We didn't really get into that on the show that much. We just kind of dropped in there quick. But other things that came up on the show today. Oh, I mentioned that Kelly almost had like a complete flashback to 2019 with the Kelly Martin thing. It is like the people that Kirk wants to talk to are bigger names that you end up having to go to like these studios that Barstool already has relationships with to spread the wealth amongst all the different podcast shows. So I imagine the same thing back in 2019 is that'll be a common occurrence. So I'll have to get back to her today. I got the email right before we went on and I didn't respond during the show. So just that, no, we reach out on our own as a show and it is what it is, and that's common knowledge. And I believe at this point Kelly understands that, knowing the history. So it just is what it is. So we'll keep reaching out to big names guests. Speaking of that, I know I did see the tweet yesterday of a lot of people thinking maybe, I don't know, now I'm like second guessing myself. Did Big Jim Browdy actually book Stevie Van Zandt as well? Is he on in, it's 12:50. I think it was a 12:20 spot. I might have missed it. I think that was a parody account just fucking around. I'm pretty confident in that, but I got a lot of people, which I'm impressed by. But Stevie Van Sant is booked for an interview next week, we said on the show. So it is funny, just like the debacle is the funny shit. Then you actually get them and it's like, there's no talking points around that, obviously. So, but we'll be interviewing him on Friday, and then we'll probably, whenever Kirk decides, post the release of the book, which I believe is September 28th. I keep saying, so that'll end up happening. So that's on the books. So we'll see how that one goes. Other things, Chris brought another game. He brought another game. He's into these games, and I actually credit to him and the fact he had it ready cheered Kirk up a little bit. He was doing a lot of Craig and Mittman talk and getting upset about all of it, and then we got to play that theme music that just, I don't know, it sounds like you're back at my arcade was the Dream Machine in Walpole at the Walpole Mall. Kind of brings me back, that sound, that music. I don't know why it stuck with Kirk, but I guess that's the theme music for every game that Quantum Week Chris brings. This week was Box Office Baseball, so it was number ones for every year. So that was a fun little game out of Chris. That's it, I guess. So that'll be the wrap up. We will be back on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. So Tuesday, I appreciate Kirk moving the schedule a little bit. You got to do a family first situation for me on Monday, but I appreciate him moving it. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, it would appear for next week. So I keep saying that. So besides that, everybody have a good weekend. If I don't talk to you before then, Justin back hopefully on Tuesday. We think, and I'll check in with him again. And yeah, we'll talk to you on Tuesday.